Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. Hello, welcome to episode 172 of 15 Minutes of Genius. If you'd like to follow us, you can click right here on YouTube to subscribe. If you'd like to give us 5 stars, you go to Apple Podcast or to Spotify, but we prefer Apple Podcast. And so we've been gone for a while. We had an episode a couple weeks ago, and now we're back. And today, super excited to have him on because love the product. He's growing it, and they have some exciting things going on, which we'll talk more about. But David Cantor, he is the founder and CEO of Folk Revival. David, how you doing?
Great. Hi, Alex. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. You can loosen up. It's all good. It's all good. You know, I mean, when I talk to you offline, you have all this energy. I want to see that on the show today. So
bring it. I'll bring it.
All right. So interesting name. I'd like to start with the name and the story behind the name. It's catchy. It's different. When you Google it, you see folk music revival. See, you know, it's a well-known kind of term. But tell us, what was the origination of coming up with your name?
The short answer is we really liked the name. I could leave it there. When we were brainstorming names, it was rising to the top. It was taken. Actually, there was another company that had the trademark, and I reached out to them, reached out to the CMO on LinkedIn, and they had discontinued the product. Would you mind stop renewing the trademark and just abandoning it? And it took actually a few months to hear back, but I did eventually hear back. And she let us know that they were sort of relinquishing the trademark, and it was up, it was up for grabs. So we filed the application and grabbed it. And the name, is all about, it's folk and it's revival. So it's about people, and it's also about, reviving heirloom and heritage foods, which is really what the brand is all about.
Cool. And I want to get into also just beyond just the product itself, but also the active ingredients. One of the ingredients is, and you can talk more about all the ingredients, but one of the key ingredients is acorn, which you don't really see often marketed. And typically, you see a squirrel on a golf course eating an acorn. So why acorns?
So acorns are fascinating. Actually, they've been consumed by people for thousands of years. And they're not widely consumed here in North America, but they are still consumed in pockets here and there around the world. And notably in Korea, there's a very famous dish that is made with acorns, for instance, but a few other pockets as well. In North America, in the US, they're really only consumed by various Native American communities where they're sort of prized as an important heritage food. It was an important part of the diet in pre-Columbian times, and has recently actually seen a little bit of a resurgence in the last couple decades as native cuisine has risen.
Mm-hmm. And what are the benefits of it for someone who doesn't know anything about it? Why consume an acorn in your product or the acorn ingredient?
Yeah, there are myriad benefits. There's ecological benefits, there's health benefits. So ecologically, acorns, we're all familiar with them, right? They come from oak trees. They're in every, sort of park and playground and schoolyard, golf course across the country. So we're all familiar with oaks and acorns. And, I have a 100-year-old oak tree in my backyard that drops about 2,000 pounds of acorns every year, it seems. And it doesn't require any irrigation, any fertilizers, any sort of toxic agricultural inputs. And that is one of the benefits, is we sort of get this natural resource that sort of falls to the ground, and it's largely unused. And then because we wild harvest our acorns, they're sort of upcycled. They're part of diverse forest ecosystems. And these systems, as we know, they sequester carbon from the atmosphere. So there's a strong case that adding acorns to our diet and sort of supporting the sort of diverse forest ecosystems actually can even help fight, climate change.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah, most people don't think about that, but it is really, there's not a big carbon footprint to grow acorns. And then you look at just trees and how many they produce. I wouldn't be surprised if part of your, your lot is supplied by that tree in your backyard, how many that's dropping there.
It's true. And then nutritionally, just to answer the second part of your question. So nutritionally, they're a tree nut, right? Just like almonds or hazelnuts or walnuts, right? So it's a tree nut. So they're naturally gluten-free. The nutritional profile of acorns is fairly similar to the nutritional profile of other tree nuts. They are rich in sort of these phytonutrients that are often associated with like red wine or dark chocolate, these compounds that help blood flow and circulation. Everyone's heard that like a glass of red wine is good for your heart, that type of thing. Those same compounds are actually found in acorns as well. So there's myriad health benefits as well as the ecological benefits we talked about.
Love it. Love it. That's really amazing, man. Yeah, because I'm always a fan of brands when they come out with a ingredient that's not really well known. I mean, well known as a tree nut, but as an ingredient in food. And also, I love when foods are taken from other areas in the world where they are popular, but they're not popular here yet. And like, I think coconut water to me was a prime example. I read the book by Mark Rampolla, who created Zico, about how you would only see coconut water in 2001 or 2002 in like ethnic markets, like Asian markets in Chinatown or something, or, K-Town in LA. And now obviously it's $1 billion company. And then like, hemp seeds as well. So I love these stories about how you bring them to the US, you make them mainstream, you build the awareness. You have a background in CPG, which we'll get into. And so you have the knowledge, the skill set from previous companies you've helped grow and build. Do you see this as a uphill battle of getting people to really understand acorns and the benefits with your product?
I think there's a little bit of education involved, in the sense that when you're introducing a new ingredient into the food supply, that's my dog hacking.
Yeah, no, he's one of the guests, so he's on the show now.
So there's always a little bit of education, but fortunately, it's I'd say it's easier than some of the things that like you mentioned, like think of acai, right? We take it for granted, it's familiar, we're all familiar with acai bowls, that type of thing. But 20 plus years ago, it was a novel ingredient being introduced into the food supply that was hard to pronounce and unfamiliar. Acorns, on the other hand, are familiar to everyone, right? Every school child is familiar with acorns in their playground, that type of thing. So I think the barrier is much lower. What I found during these initial few months, having demoed the product repeatedly and talked to tons of consumers, is that everyone gets it. It's like, really cool, didn't know you could eat those, that type of thing.
Got it. And it is a tree nut, right? So it's an extension of, in recent years, like hazelnuts and other types of nuts have become bigger and bigger, and they're being included in drinks. And I could even see, who knows, right? Call me freaking crazy or smart or both, but acorn milk, right? That could be something down the road.
Don't give away my whole innovation.
Didn't even know that. So anyway, going into it, with your experience, right? So you had some history working with Dr. Praeger's. You were there, helped build the brand. Tell us more about pre-Folk Revival, what you did in the space, and then also what led to you saying, okay, you know what, I did this, now I'm going to Folk Revival and doing that.
Sure. So really quickly, I've been in CPG for 20 years. I started my career at M&M Mars in their health and nutrition division, which was essentially a skunk works division, working on diversifying their portfolio into better for you snacks at the time. This is the early 2000s. Spent several years there, and eventually, just sort of like climbed the marketing ladder. Started as a junior, ABM there, and climbed the marketing ladder, eventually landed at Dr. Praeger's, which is best known as a veggie burger company, and spent 8 really terrific years there as head of marketing, and oversaw innovation and R&D for that brand. We grew the brand really aggressively, really successfully during my tenure there, and we sold the brand, or the majority of the brand to private equity back in early 21. And I stuck around for nearly a year helping with the transition and the handoff and everything, and really was itching to launch a brand of my own. I mean, for 20 years, I've been working on building essentially small startup challenger brands for other people. And I really wanted to do it for myself. And I had this idea and I saw this need in the marketplace and sort of took the plunge. So I left at the end of 21. I worked on it all throughout 22, from the branding and the supply chain to, co-packer and formulas and you name it. And then we launched Folk Revival, which is here, by the way. Sort of looks like this. Cup of, we haven't mentioned it yet. It's a cup of hot cereal, sort of like an oatmeal. We launched just early this year. So we've been in market now for just about half a year.
Awesome. And then also looking at this too, I want to show, just for those that are actually watching instead of listening, which most people, especially when I'm on here, I have a face for radio, so they don't want to watch me. But for those that are watching, website, here's the products. So you have an original, you have a chai almond, and a blueberry almond. And then is there a fourth SKU?
Yeah, there's a maple walnut, probably, if you keep
Yep, maple walnut. So there, yeah, on this website, folkrevival.com. Cool website. I love the branding too, man. Like, just the font and everything. Did you come up with it? Was it you? Was it you and a marketing team, or who came up with these idea for the branding identity?
Yeah. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I have 5 partners on the brand, and one of them is a founder of a very successful agency based out of Brooklyn. He provided ad agency support for us at Dr. Praeger's, did a bang up job, got to know them, really made a great impression. And when I informed them that I was leaving to work on Folk Revival, he said some magical words, which founders don't always hear, which is, "Hey, how can I help? I love it. I love, what you're trying to do. How can I help?" You don't hear that all the time. So I, of course, I needed tons of help. So he was eager to sort of jump in, and he was the first partner really to just lean into the project. He's been putting in sweat equity like myself, owns a small stake in the brand, and they're really talented from brand design stuff to full-blown marketing campaigns and big brands, little brands, CPG, and outside of this sector, etc. And if it's okay, I'm happy to drop their name.
Sure.
Yeah. Special operations. I think it's special-operations.co out of Brooklyn. Awesome.
Special-operations.co. Hey, make sure to reach out. We're here to help the CPG community with different options and resources. So if you need branding help, identity help, not personally on the branding side, make sure to, maybe they help with that too. Make sure to reach out to them. And then what's really cool, we want to get on to the next segment here, but I won't name other brands because you can go to folkrevival.com and see that. But they did really just a apples to apples comparison of them versus other, not just, Quaker oatmeal, right? But brands that are new agey, right? That are newer in the last 5 years, 10 years, that have a hot cereal in a cup where you just add hot water. And it looks like there's some comparison points which are similar, right? Like the protein, yours is the highest. But the one that really gets me is that yours is grain and gluten-free, which is big because a lot of people just can't have oatmeal because it's too heavy in the gut. It's, not gluten-free. But the net carbs, how the hell are you so low on net carbs compared to all these others, but still have that viscous kind of,
so it cooks up just like oatmeal. So, if you add if you follow those instructions and add the right amount of water, or milk or oat milk or whatnot, it cooks up just like oatmeal. It sort of sticks to your ribs, just like a good, bowl of oatmeal in the morning. And it's mostly made from nuts and seeds. And therefore, because it's grain-free, there's no carbs. That was one of the catalysts for why we ended up launching the brand with hot cereal. It's not the objective here is to actually expand beyond hot cereal into other breakfast items and other day parts, etc. But we're starting with hot cereal. And yeah, we saw that there wasn't, I like oatmeal a lot, but starting the day with a bowl of oatmeal, sort of like starting the day with like a giant bagel, in the sense that you are eating, 30, 40, depending on the size of your bowl, 30, 40, 50 grams of carbs in the morning. And that just doesn't work for me in middle age. So I saw a need, and there really weren't any options out there. We're definitely the highest protein, lowest carb offering in the oatmeal set. And of course, the first brand to bring acorns to market. Yeah, actually, in any category, in any aisle, really in any grocery store across the country.
Yeah, and you're going to see like how well the product does right as you're growing it, and you can really get a lot of market feedback about innovation pipeline with the acorn, where it can go, what you can do with it. It's super exciting. So just want to mention real quick. You're going to be doing some crowdfunding, and it's going to be on WeFunder. We just want to talk about some of the high-level items about it, when it's going to be launching, and what you're looking to achieve by raising the capital on WeFunder, with the company's vision, where you want to go with it. So tell us more, just more high level about your campaign, which is coming up. And then we'll put it in the comments as well, the campaign page link, so you can go there and check it out. And if you like what you see, then you can become part of the company and invest.
That's great. Thanks, Alex. Sure. So we're starting very shortly here with a private campaign, which is sort of complying with the rules of WeFunder. And then we'll open up to the public, and we'll see this later this fall. So it's fast approaching. And the objective is to really like open up the tent and invite people in. The spirit of the brand is, it's folk revival after all, right? So the idea is to like bring as many people in as possible. We're seeing a lot of enthusiasm for the product, the brand, the packaging, sort of the ethos of what we're bringing to market. So, we're raising money for operations, for sales and marketing, to increase distribution, all of it. And I can say that the reaction so far, just to give you like where we are at this point in time, has been terrific. We've opened up KeHE in the East. We're in about 100 stores or so, mostly centered around the New York City metro area, but up and down the coast a little bit as well. The stores are ordering, they're reordering and reordering. It's great. We actually just got our 4th KeHE PO. So it's moving, and we've like barely turned on marketing, frankly. And we're also selling online, which of course is a good fit. It's ambient. It's relatively light before you add water into it. It's not glass bottles or anything like that. And so it lends itself to DTC, and we've learned a ton online, and we're seeing like really same thing, really strong repeat rates and increasing number of people who are just like incorporating folk revival into their daily regimen, whether it's breakfast or post-workout or whatever, what have you. But it's been great to see and great to get that feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think any product line that implements a type of regimen where you're having it daily, like as just part of your process, part of your wake up thing, part of your late in the day little snack to get you through to dinner, is a really, to me, a valuable proposition, right? Mudwater, did that, and you have other brands that are,
Sure,
in that kind of morning space and also afternoon space, and it seems to work really, really well. And then the product just tastes great. It's timely, low carb, high protein. So I think you guys have done a great job on the formulation side, and that's why you're seeing some traction. And it's cool too that, with any startup, right, you don't really have a ton of cash, and you've seen this type of movement and velocity without pumping in, millions of dollars like your Beyond Meat or something like that, right?
right.
So it's cool to see that organic movement. We're running really short on time. So as mentioned, the campaign page link will be in the comments below. So make sure to check it out. And also it will be on WeFunder, right? I know there's a stage where it's actually on there publicly. So, but either way, you can Google it, WeFunder Folk Revival. We'll make sure to get you there so you can check out their campaign page. So one last thing we're going to do, which is a surprise to you. I never tell my guests we're doing this unless you've seen all the episodes. It's called Rapid Fire Questions.
Rapid Fire Questions.
All right. So we got 2 minutes here. All right. So we got to do this real quick. I'm going to ask you 15 questions. And these are really fun questions. Nothing too harsh. All right. So for music, which decade is the best? The 70s, 80s, or 90s?
70s.
And by the way, we do this to kind of get more of a window into who you are as a person, your personality, right? There's more behind the brain and the hat here. So what do you do for exercise?
Some cardio and weights every day.
Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Lawrence of Arabia.
It's like I saw that in the theater. Actually, there was an intermission. I'm like, that's never happened before.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Favorite country to travel to?
I loved Iceland.
Favorite Star Wars character?
Han Solo.
What is your spirit animal?
I don't know. Dog.
There we go. Dog showed up in the podcast, and he said dog. It's perfect. Do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
I drive a wagon. I drive a station wagon.
Okay, that's kind of the pre-SUV. For food, salty or sweet?
Salty.
For favorite day of the week and why?
Saturday, time with the family.
Love it. Uber or Lyft? Which one do you prefer? Or neither?
They're both great.
LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, the greatest of all time?
MJ.
Yep. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? Which one do you like better?
I just saw Terminator 1 with my 14-year-old daughter, and it was so much fun. It holds up really well. It's, some of the special effects are a little cheesy and dated, but it holds up really well.
We had Patrick Schwarzenegger on our show for episode 100. We asked him, which one did you like better, number 1 or 2? Do you know which one he said?
No.
Well, he said 2. So because he's from that generation of action, right? He's like in his action movies from the 90s, Michael Bay, Face Off, all those. So Terminator 2 fit right into that.
We'll be watching 2 very shortly.
2 is the best action movie of all time.
Better than Die Hard?
Yeah, for sure. Much better. Yeah. It's the greatest action movie of all time. And no doubt, nothing's ever beat it. Things have come close, but never beat it. I'm jealous you have not seen it.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. Okay.
I only saw it, 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. I watch it once a year for sure. It's always on Netflix. Favorite food or drink? There's a bunch of Arnold stuff on Netflix now. There's like Arnold, there's Game Changers, there's Fubar. He's getting back into it, man. I never quit. I never get down. All right. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island, and it cannot be Folk Revival or Genius Juice?
Well, I mean, I want to know what I could harvest there. So hopefully there's, it's a diverse ecosystem and abundant sea life, etc. But, in the spirit of Folk Revival, which is all about like reviving heirloom and heritage foods, I'm going to go with that.
Okay. You're not allowed to say Folk Revival.
Well, I said it in a.
And it's gonna go. Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, this has been episode 172 of 15 Minutes of Genius with David Cantor, founder and CEO of Folk Revival. And again, his campaign, make sure to check it out. There'll be a link in the comments here to invest in his brand. And I think that is basically it. And thank you so much for joining us, David.
Thank you, Alex.
All right. So make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. And one last thing, stay genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.